experience has been so far. So let's get into it. Plug your earphones in and get cozy. So my first thought is, or just for context, so I am 4 weeks postpartum. I had my baby through a C-section, so that's kind of the context for, my recovery and that timeline and everything. But honestly, I want to start it out by saying that this is just my experience, and every baby is different, and every baby's needs are different too. So if you're a new parent and you're watching this, please don't take it as advice or expertise. I'm new. I know we're all trying to just wing it and do our best. So if you're in the season of life with me, or if you're watching this down the road, give yourself some grace. But this is just how my experience has been, and I'm really grateful for it because I think I have it really easy, thank God. And I'm using all of my luck right now, so I don't take it for granted. But keep that in mind with how my experience has been. So the first thing I want to start out with is he's growing so fast. So within the first week and a half, he outgrew newborn clothes, and he was born 8 pounds and 1 ounce. And then when we had our follow-up appointment with our pediatrician, she said that he was 8 pounds and 14 ounces. And then at his 2-week appointment, they measured him and he was 9 pounds, 9.5 pounds. So he's growing very quickly. And that is something that, of course, I expected that. Everybody talks about how you should buy like cheap baby clothes because they're gonna outgrow them super quickly. But just seeing that, like, there's a little bit of heartbreak that comes with lay down. You gotta lay down. No, you gotta lay down. Sorry, guys. She really wanted my pineapple, so what can you do? But there's a little bit of heartbreak that comes with like retiring the newborn clothes. And when I first saw that he outgrew his newborn clothes, I was so sad because the thing is, he's really long. So I think he fits the newborn clothes that are like just the torso, but for the ones like the onesies, he can't fit in them anymore because his shoulders are like 2 inches taller than what those are made for. So that was really sad, but it's okay. It means that he's getting what he needs and he's a healthy guy, so we can't really complain about that. The second thing is that, so he is a very easy baby, and that is something that like I am so grateful for, because I know a lot of babies sometimes have like issues that are harder to solve, but from day one, like, he was good at latching and breastfeeding, and I know that doesn't always come naturally, but I'm really grateful for it. And he has 3 needs. It's like he needs to eat, he needs to be with me, like he needs cuddles, he needs a diaper change, like, and when I say cuddles, it means like he wants to sleep on my chest. So yeah, you would do the same if you could, huh? So he's just a simple guy, and like I think that's a huge blessing, especially as our first baby, because we are just figuring out, we didn't know if it was gonna come naturally, we didn't know if it was gonna be super intuitive, but I feel like parenting has been intuitive for both me and my husband, and that's been great. And luckily it's not like he has any confusing needs, so we are taking every day as it comes. And even with like bedtime routine and everything like that, like we're just rolling with the punches and making it work. Come here. You come here. Come. There, you come here. You lay down right here. Come here. It's so awkward and far. Okay. But I feel like even with the nighttime routine, we're just taking every day as it comes, and I think that's been nice, just not having any expectations, and like he's so little So we try to put him in the bassinet most nights, but if he doesn't want to, like, it's very natural for him to just want to be with us all night and to breastfeed or sleep on our chest. And like, we've kind of just been allowing that. And I think we probably will for like at least until next week when he's officially 4 weeks, because today's Friday. Tomorrow he's going to be 4 weeks, and then maybe like after the 4th week we'll start like enforcing the bassinet a little bit more. But as for right now, he is just a happy little guy, and like, he doesn't really cry very much unless one of those 3 needs isn't being met. Like, we try to solve it as soon as possible. So and like, we do that ultimately because I know that right now we're setting the foundation for his emotional regulation and skills, and I really want him to be a securely attached baby and kid and adult, and that starts with me. He's learning all of those skills through me. And so with that, it's like the first month it feels a little bit more crucial, and then later, as he gets a little bit more, like a little bit older, we're probably going to start having more of a routine. But anyways, that's what we're doing, and it's working, but it's not advice. It's just what we feel is like right for us. So that's been really cool to see. Like, we're not really taking it, like, we're not putting too much pressure or stress on ourselves, and that is making it way easier. Like, when we let go of any expectations, it's 100 times easier. So that's what we're doing, and we're figuring out if that works out for us. The next thing is that I hate to admit this, but I feel like the past month I've been so inclined to just stay at home with my husband and my baby, and like, we're recovering and everything, and people say wait 6 weeks before really going back into real life. But I think for us it's like, I don't know, I don't feel that interested in going out to like get coffee with friends or like see people outside. Like, it feels a little bit more draining than it did when I was pregnant and before I was pregnant, and I hope that we ease out of that, because I really do think that like being with people fills my cup. But I think right now it's like, I'm okay with not seeing anybody except for my husband and my baby and Vera. So yeah, I hate to say that, but that's how it's been. And I think it's like good to acknowledge that that's okay. And I feel like a piece of that is natural, you know, wanting to just keep your bubble small as you're adapting and adjusting to a new style of life, like having a baby. Another thing is like, he's always attached to me, so it's like I don't really get to like get ready the same way that I usually would. So when I have people over, it's like, girl. When I have people over, it feels a little bit more like a task than like a casual thing. And like, when people are over, it's usually just like our close family. But I think with them, like, it's okay, because like, I don't have to worry about doing makeup all the time, or like performing, or like hosting too intentionally. So they give me a little bit more grace. But I think the idea of like having friends over is really daunting, because it's like, I don't know, like, I don't want to be performative or like inauthentic, but I think there's a piece of me that likes to present myself a certain way. So when I can't necessarily always do that, or do that easily the way that I could before having a baby, it feels a little bit, I don't know, I don't feel as good. But anyways, we're working through that, and I think soon enough I will be like able to go out and do stuff with friends and meet with people, and maybe even leave the baby here with Carlos or like one of the grandparents to like babysit while I go out for like a coffee date or something. So we'll see, but I'm giving myself grace for that, of like understanding like it's okay, it's a change, and like I am delegating my energy towards the baby, and that's a higher priority than delegating it towards like presenting myself a certain way. So it's okay. I everything's good. So I had a C-section, and 2 weeks in, I started like trying to get back to normal life and trying to like do laundry and do dishes and clean a little bit, and then I tried to baby wear. So like I tried the Soli wrap, and like I felt great. Like I didn't feel like I was straining myself too much. Like we went on a walk outside, just like a little stroller walk, not very far. But I think in that moment I realized like, okay, my body doesn't feel 100% back to normal, which makes sense because it probably shouldn't be back to normal quite yet, like at the 2-week mark. It'd be great if it did, but it's just not realistic. And so, and I also, my incision opened up a little bit after doing the tasks around the house, just because I think I was straining myself a little bit more than I should have. And after I saw that my incision opened up just a little bit, it kind of humbled me and like made me slow down more than I thought I would have to. So that was like humbling, but it's also important to like set those expectations for myself, because I feel like even just last week I saw on social media as I was scrolling on TikTok, not to compare or anything, but I saw like people working out 3 weeks postpartum via C-section, and like for me it's like, oh my gosh, I couldn't do that. Now knowing that like my incision could potentially open up if I like push myself too hard. But that was something that like as soon as I saw the incision opened up, I just had to like dial it back. And I've been just in between like my bed and the couch and standing up for maybe like a few minutes here and there, or like going to the kitchen to like put something away, or like organizing Leo's room, or like that type of stuff. But I feel like I've been a little bit more cautious when it comes to getting back to those tasks. And I think it's good to be cautious, but I don't think social media always sets the right expectations when it comes to how quickly you can get back to normal life. Or not even social media, I think just individuals. I think everybody's racing to get back and like to get back to their pre-pregnancy weight, or like look, or like activities. Like I've seen people like, I know some like different people who are in a stage of life like this, like postpartum, and they're like going to coffee 1 week postpartum. And it's like, I think some people can do that. But I think for me, it's important to recognize like, that's not majority, you know, not everybody's going to be like bouncing back to like go outside and like necessarily wanting to expose their baby to like the germs outside or like people quite yet, you know. So I don't know, that's something that I didn't really expect, but that I feel like I'm giving myself the grace to experience. And like we took him out to dinner for the first time 3 weeks postpartum. So this Monday night with my family. It was really nice, but we kind of had to wait until we were at a point where we felt comfortable to do that, just because he is a newborn and his immune system isn't fully developed. And like it's also just kind of daunting to go out in public with a newborn, because you don't know if he's going to cry or, you know, need to be fed while you're out, or like just navigating those things. It's unique and a little scary when you haven't done it for like quite yet, like when it's the first time to do it. So come here. Yeah, so that's been an interesting thing with the C-section, and also like expectations versus reality of getting back to normal life. My next thing, okay. So something that people always talk about, and I think is like a common thing, is like the hormonal shift postpartum, like immediately postpartum, where you feel like more anxious or depressed, or you just feel like on edge or like completely out of whack hormonally. But luckily, I feel like for me, I haven't felt a huge shift, and I don't really feel like depressed or too anxious. And maybe that's just because I've been like mostly in our house, and see if I get anxious or anything like that. But I think I'm really grateful that I haven't really felt too many big emotions, because I think I would be prone to those things. I think it would be very easy for me to like get into a rut and feel depressed or anxious and like have that limit me. But I feel like adjusting to life with him has been pretty calm and neutral, and I'm really grateful for that. And I think part of that is because I have my husband's support, and like we really do split responsibilities, and like Carlos takes care of Leo really well, and he takes care of me really well. And so I don't feel like I'm the one that has to fully take care of our kid and navigate being postpartum and having a baby and adjusting to this new like speed of life. So I feel like that probably has contributed. And yeah, I think something that I have felt when it comes to like a sensitivity shift is just, I feel like my main thing is that I feel more sensitive towards other people's opinions. And I think unfortunately when you're postpartum, everybody wants to give you advice, or they want to like share their experiences to help you do a better job, or like they point out like something that you might be doing wrong to like help you adjust. But I think when you're postpartum, at least in my experience, like I feel more sensitive to those critiques, because that's what it feels like. But I feel like most people want to give that advice because it, like they're coming from a good spot of like trying to be helpful. I think when you're trying to do something for the first time, in your mind there should be room for error. But I think for other people don't always give you the grace to figure it out and find the best way that works for you and your situation. And also, I don't think people always realize that situations are different for everyone. Like, people give unsolicited advice, and that's what worked for them in that situation, like their situation. But it might not work for the same, like for a different situation or a different person or like a different baby, for instance. Like, that's why I said the whole disclaimer thing. It's because like I have an easy baby. That's not promised. It was so possible for me to get a baby that had different needs that were harder to kind of like sift through and understand. And I understand that. And like right before I gave birth, or right before I had the C-section, something else is I'm still trying to like wrap my head around the C-section idea. And like I don't know if I qualify that in my mind personally for me as like giving birth. It feels like a surgery where I got a baby out of it. And this is just candid. I'm not trying to be offensive to other people who've also gone through C-sections. But I don't feel like I gave birth. I feel like I had a surgery and I got my baby from it. So I don't know. I'm like still processing that. But I think what I was trying to say is that before I had my baby, this is what I was trying to say. Right before I had my baby, I heard somebody say that it's usually the people who had easy babies who write the parenting books. And so like, don't be naive enough to give advice if you have an easy baby, because like you're gonna be humbled the next time you have a baby, ultimately. And that's usually what happens. Like, you only know as much as you know. And like for me, if I hadn't heard that piece of advice, I could have easily gone into it, this whole parenting thing, saying like, I have an easy baby because I've done this and this and this and this. But it would be naive of me to say that, because if I had a baby that was not as simple, those things wouldn't work, you know? And it's like, who am I to say that these things work for everybody when they don't, you know? And the thing is, like, if we have more kids, we're figuring that out. But if I have more kids, it's super possible for those other kids to like have different needs, ultimately, because that's what it is. It's like, I don't think it's like having an easy baby or a difficult baby. It's just different needs and like sifting and sorting through those needs, trying to like decode them, you know? So I don't know. I think that's a really good piece of advice that I really appreciated hearing, because the reality of it is like, I'm a new mom. I don't know anything yet, and I'm going to continue going through these phases of like, right now we're in the postpartum newborn phase. But then when he's like 1 year, that's a whole set of new things to learn. And then when he's 3, we're going to be navigating those emotional changes. And I've heard that it's like, people say 3-nagers because it's like, yeah, the baby's going through different hormonal changes and like they're figuring out how to regulate themselves, but they don't fully understand it. It's a lot of change. And that's something that we're going to have to navigate. And it's like relearning and learning and learning and learning and learning. And so I think transparently, like the whole parenting advice idea, like I don't want to be cocky enough to start sharing advice to other people like I know everything, because we don't, and nobody really does. And even if you're a new parent and you're trying to find like parenting books and advice from other parents and everything like that, just know like if their pieces of advice don't work for you, that's okay, because every baby is different and every situation is different, and like your bandwidth is going to be different, and nothing is really like, it's hard to like put everybody's experience into a box, if that makes sense. So anyways, that was like a huge tangent, and I have to wrap up really soon. Okay, but anyways, I feel like other people's opinions, like if you're around somebody who is freshly postpartum, number one, like don't judge them. Like even if it's like give them positive affirmations, tell them that they're doing a great job. But if you're trying to take from them, if you have any expectations for them where they've let you down, don't tell them, and honestly like check yourself. And number 3 is like, don't judge them and say, hey, there's actually a better way to do this. Like ask them like, hey, can I give you a piece of advice? And check in. Like you don't need to say, oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? Like, let them breathe. It's their baby, not yours. And like, check before giving advice. Because otherwise it is unsolicited, and a lot of the time it's unwelcome and unappreciated, even if you're coming from a good spot. So, I don't know. That's just good to know. And I feel like for the postpartum parents, it's okay to feel this way. Give yourself the grace. You're doing fantastic, even if you feel like you're winging it. And like, it's okay to tell people that their opinions are not welcome. So, I don't know. That's something I wish I heard. But, anyways, okay. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna end this pretty soon. But now that I'm not pregnant, I feel so motivated to go back into real estate. And so before I was pregnant, I was in real estate and I loved it. It was my favorite thing. But as soon as I was pregnant, I didn't really want real estate stress to affect my baby, because I know cortisol, like in real estate, sometimes I get like emotionally sucked in and like really into it. And I know that raises my cortisol, which is fine, but I didn't want that to affect my baby. So I kind of just said like, hey, I'm just gonna figure out what pregnancy looks like for me. It's like fully new sensations. I don't know what to expect. So let me just give myself that break to figure it out. So I did. And it was great, but now it's like I feel like I'm back, and like I have my baby, I have my husband, but now like I want something outside of the house. Like I want something to really focus on and challenge myself with, and I'm really excited to go back into real estate. So that's my plan. I'm going to go back into the Florida real estate market, where I'm going to go into it for the first time, because I was practicing real estate in California, and I'm so excited. Like it's going to be so fun to market and start my website and like prospect and like understand the market over here and the pros and cons and the risks and the environmental challenges of like buying a house and like what to look out for and like just building my vendor list. Like I'm so excited to start again from the ground up. Like that is something that I've always loved doing, and yeah, I'm gonna like hopefully take my exam, my real estate exam by the end of this year. I'm studying for it, and then 2027 we're back into it, so I'm excited. Okay, that was just a random thing that like I didn't expect that I would be motivated postpartum, but I am very happy about it. My last thing is I am excited to find hobbies as a new mom and like kind of I don't want being a mom to be my only piece of identity, because he is eventually going to grow older and then he's going to go to college and he's not going to need me, and then he's going to move out and like we might call once a week or a few times a week, but I know that my identity can't be rooted in him and being his mom, and a piece of my identity will always be tied to that. But I'm excited to grow my identity outside of him and like find different things that truly inspire me and motivate me and energize me. So that's kind of my goal for right now, and I'm very excited. Anyways, that is all for right now. These are my thoughts. These are kind of just, this is my experience, and it's going to be different from your experience and somebody else's experience, but this is how I'm doing 1 month postpartum, and I feel like it's pretty good, and I hope it motivates somebody and it gives somebody something to look forward to, that like your experience might also be great and exciting. So keep that in mind. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys.